In the last lesson, we learned how to order this particular query, for example, by the last name. So I could say order by last name, and let's do it in descending order. So we say DESC, and I run that, and now my results are ordered by the last name column in descending order. As we learned at the end of last lesson, we can also use the column ordinal or the column alias. Instead of typing out the last name column, I could just as easily have said order by 2, because last name is the second column listed in the select clause, so its column ordinal is 2, and again, the column ordinal is one of the ways that we can specify the ordering criteria in our order by clause. So if I run this, I get the same exact results. Now suppose I want to sort my results by the last name column in ascending order and then the first name column in descending order. To do that, we're going to type order by. We said we want the last name column in ascending order, so I could put ASC if I wanted to be particularly explicit, but SQL will automatically interpret ascending order if I don't specify. So I'm just going to say order by last name, and then I'm going to place a comma after the first column, and then I'm going to say first name DESC. So SQL will order the results by the last name column in ascending order first, and then sort the results by the first name column in descending order. So let's see what that looks like. So Adams is the first last name in the alphabet. Xavier is the last first name for the Adams last name. So we've ordered all of our rows by the last name column. And then where there's a tie, or where the last names are the same for certain rows, we're then ordering based on the first name column value, and we're doing that in descending order. If I were to want to look at my results ordered by the last name, then the first name in ascending order, I could just remove this DESC and then execute the code, and now I have everything ordered by the last name and then by the first name where there's ties or the same name. The one thing that's nice about the order by clause is I actually don't have to be consistent in this clause about whether I'm using only column names or only column ordinals or only column aliases. So for example, I could replace order by last name, order by 2, because the last name column is again in the second position in the select clause, therefore the column ordinal is 2. So I can execute this and I'll get the same exact results. Let's give an alias to the first name column and call it customer first name. So now I could say order by 2, comma, customer first name. And you'll notice that the IntelliSense is smart enough to pick up the alias, and it allows you to use it. If we tried to do this in the where clause, it would not pick up the column alias as part of the IntelliSense. So by running this, again, I get the same exact answer. Now let's combine all of our clauses together. So we're going to use the select, from, where, and order by clause in a single code. Let's look at the sales.vSalesperson view. I'm just going to return all rows. So this is a view that consolidates some of our salesperson information containing their first name, last name, some of their quotas, things like that. I'm going to return just the last name, first name, and sales quota column from this view. Now suppose I want to order my results by the sales quota column in descending order, and then the last name column in ascending order. So I can specify the ASC, or I could leave it unspecified and I'll get the same result. I'll just throw it in for this one. When I execute this, now the highest sales quota is at the top, and then we're ordering those ties, or the tie break for those equivalent sales quotas, is based on the last name column. So B comes before M comes before R. That's why we have this ordering. Now suppose we want to add the where clause, and let's say where the sales quota is greater than or equal to 250,000. When I execute that, now I drop to 14 rows because there were 3 rows that had a sales quota less than 250,000. Our order by clause doesn't require any changes if we use the where clause. Everything can consolidate nicely, and we can use all clauses together. Nothing changes for us when we add the where clause into our SQL code. Again, we could have used column ordinals, or had we specified column aliases, we could have used those in the order by clause as well. Let's give a alias sales with a space quota for the sales quota column. And let's say order by sales quota. And then last name has the column ordinal 1, so we're going to place that there. And I'm actually going to get the same exact answer. So again, just different ways of completing the same query. That's all we're going to talk about as it relates to the order by clause. Definitely take a look at the worksheets to get some more practice using this clause and combining this clause with the select, from, and where clause all in one statement. In the next lesson, we're going to introduce one of the most important concepts that we're going to talk about in this entire class, and that's the concept of joining. This next lesson on joins is going to be one of the most important, if not the most important, lessons that we're going to talk about in this class.